passes all understanding.
Like a river.
Oh, I've got peace in my soul, and there is love. I'm surrounded by the arms of love. Oh, it's a sweet, sweet love in my soul, and I've got joy
Like a river. Like a river.
I've got joy in my soul. Peace, love, and joy. Oh, peace, love, and joy. Peace, love, joy. Oh, peace, love, and joy.
Love, joy.
I've got peace,
Love, joy.
and I've got love. So much love. Love and joy. Love and joy. Oh, boy. It's surrounding me everywhere with me. I've got so much peace. I've got so much peace. Love and joy. Love and joy. I never knew love could be like this. I never knew peace. Peace could be like this. I never knew this joy. Never knew this all around. love and joy. Oh, peace, love and joy. Peace, love, joy. Oh, peace, love and joy.
love, joy,
I've got peace,
love, joy,
and I've got love. So much love. Love and joy. Love and joy. Oh, boy. It's surrounding me everywhere with me. I've got so much peace. I've got so much peace. Love and joy. Love and joy. I never knew love could be like this. I never knew peace. Peace could be like this. I never knew this joy. Never knew this joy. peace. Love and joy. Love and joy. I never knew love could be like this. I never knew peace could be like this. I never knew this joy, never knew this joy. Love and joy, love and joy. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace in my soul. There is love all around me, so much love all around me, so much love in my soul. I've got joy like a river. I've got joy like a river. So much joy in my soul. I've got peace like a river that passes all understanding. Peace like a river. Oh, I've got peace in my soul. And there is love. Oh, I'm surrounded by the
Hello, good morning, happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is so very good to be with you as we gather together to celebrate the magnificence and significance of the presence and power of God operating, flowing, moving, being abundant in, through, and as each and every one of us. Let us begin as we always do with prayer, and I want to ground us in a reading today from the Daily Word. The Word is a word we know very well, prosperity, but may not always understand. And so we will use this to ground us for our prayer. The affirmation today: I live an abundant life. It often has been said you can't take it with you. While it is true that money and material possessions must be left behind when I transition from this life, these things are not the source of my prosperity. My true wealth lies in my consciousness, my ability to give and receive love, to share what I have and receive from others with equal joy, to understand and use the creative power of thought, and to know myself and all people as living expressions of the divine. I live consciously and abundantly, making wise use of earth's resources and drawing upon the limitless storehouse of divine ideas. Through the power of God within me, I enrich my life physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And the scripture, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Matthew 6:20. Again, the affirmation: I live an abundant life. And so from this place of awareness, I invite you right here and now, wherever you are, to stop what you're doing, to get still. We close our eyes and we take a deep breath in, and we exhale. And we let each breath be a signal to our body that it can relax. We breathe in and we breathe out. We let each breath sink us into the deeper mind. We breathe in and we breathe out. And from this place of awareness, the realm of everlasting ideas, we know and we remember and we recognize that there is only one mind, only one power, only one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all, that is working in you, through you, and as you, that is working in me, through me, and as me now. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect, whole, and complete. And that life is your life now, for you are perfect, whole, and complete. That life is my life now, for I am perfect, whole, and complete. That life is the life of all life, for life itself is perfect, whole, and complete. As we recognize the truth of who and what God is, recognizing that God is not a person, place, or thing, but God is a real felt experience, recognizing that God is not a human being sitting up in a cloud somewhere, but God is right here, right now, where you are. God neither comes nor goes. God is within you right now. God is within this connection right now. God is filling and has filled, and the space that you are in is filled and overflowing with God's substance, with God's stuff, with good, with love that is. And as I recognize that all is God and God is now, I recognize that we are one with God and one of God. I recognize that we live, move, and have our being in God, and God lives, moves, and has its expression in, through, and as us. We are the hands of God. We are the eyes of God. We are the feet of God. The activity of God happens in, through, and as us, as we are individualized, particularized, undivided expressions of the all in all. And so it is out of this awareness that we declare today that we live a life of abundance. Our life is abundant now. We think a life of abundance. Our life is abundant now. We see a life of abundance. Our life is abundant now. We feel a life of abundance. Our life is abundant now. We believe and know a life of abundance. Our lives are abundant now. And so it is out of that awareness that we gather together today. It is out of that awareness, knowing that there is an abundance, unlimited divine ideas available to us. We gather today knowing that there's an abundance and unlimited availability of the restoration of health, radiant health available to us today. We gather together knowing that we are abundant, knowing that we can experience a greater expression of the power and presence of God in, through, and as us. And we are willing, we accept, we permit, and allow the flow of God, the flow of good, the flow of love to flow in, through, and as us. I am so grateful and thankful for this spiritual community. I am so grateful and thankful for this spiritual opportunity. I am so grateful and thankful for this masterclass. I am so grateful and thankful for all that CSC is, all that CSC has been, and all that CSC will continue to be. So with joy and thanksgiving, we release this prayer. We release it back into the law, knowing that it is heard, met, received, and already responded to. Yes. It is done. Together we lift up our voices and we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And this is so. Yes, yes. Well, hello again. Happy Sunday. It's so very good to be here with each and every one of you. I'm feeling good this morning. I trust that you are feeling good and getting better and better all the time. It's wonderful to be here with each and every one of you as we continue to enjoy the summer, as we continue to expand our consciousness this summer through the Masterclass. If you are a first-time guest, hello, welcome. We're so excited that you found your way here to Celebration Spiritual Center. It is not an accident. It is a beautiful coincidence. And we are grateful to have you here. We're grateful to be here with you, knowing that you will receive something powerful. You will receive something that will support you in living an empowered life and thriving, not just today, not just tomorrow, but throughout your life. Now, as a first-time guest, the information you see here on your screen is how you access your digital connection card. This is your way to stay in touch with us and for us to stay in touch with you. We send out emails throughout the week and keep you abreast of wonderful things happening at CSC. All you have to do is text the word welcome to 347-472-1078. Just the word welcome. No additional messages are needed, and you'll receive a link. That link will take you to the digital connection card. When you click that link, enter your information. We just need your email address and your first and last name, and you submit that, you'll receive another text that says you're all set. Indeed, you are at that point. If for any reason you have issues or you're unable to access that text message, or particularly if you're outside of the United States, you may may not be able to text this number. If you look here in the post here on YouTube or here on Facebook, you'll see that we actually have the link there in the post. So you can click that link. That'll take you directly there into your information, and you're all set. But what's most important is that you're here. What's most important is that there's something powerful that you will receive as a result of your willingness to be here, as a result of your intention to be here. So again, welcome. You can also feel free to let us know where you're connecting in from. If you want to post that in the comments, you may find that there are others that are watching and streaming right here and now where you are in the same city, state, or country. And so from this place, it is a wonderful opportunity for us to move into our news and updates so that we can tap into, after that, the meditation experience, and then move forward with our class for today. We are in Masterclass mode. We are in the final 3 weeks of our Masterclass, and it's been a wonderful summer. We're excited to continue this process, and we're so excited to see and hear all of the ways that so many of you are enjoying the class. We received messages last week from some folks that just started watching last week, and they're just in love with what's happening and receiving something powerful through the class. So if you're just joining us this week, all good. You can always go back to week 1 and catch up so that you can continue with us for the final weeks. Every third Sunday is God Talk Sunday. That means next Sunday, we will be having the God Talk. What is the God Talk? It is your opportunity to ask questions. What we know to be true is that it's important that you have a forum to be able to openly and honestly ask questions, right, without any fear or any shame. Have a space where you can receive the clarity you need so that you can apply new thought metaphysical principles to your life. Now, the God Talk is not a substitute for therapy. The God Talk is not even a substitute for spiritual counseling. It's really a direct opportunity to get your questions answered and also to learn how to apply these principles directly to what's happening in your life. Because as I love to say, if I can't apply it to what's really happening in my life, it's useless. But as I continue to study and teach these principles over and over and over and over and over and over again, these principles continue to support me in living an empowered life. So we trust that you will join us. You have to be on our mailing list in order to get the Zoom link and password. So for our first-time guests, you'll see that information again, how to access the digital connection card so that you can join our mailing list. If you're already on the mailing list, just go to any of the emails that are sent out on Fridays. The information is there. Put this in your calendar, and we look forward to you joining us after the Masterclass at 1 p.m. next Sunday for the God Talk. Every fourth Sunday is Healing Sunday. This is something that we began this year where we hold a special spiritual mind treatment, specific spiritual mind treatment for healing of any kind. And I want to encourage you to be here this month for the Healing Sunday. There's something that I want to share with you all that I think will be impactful and really beneficial, and particularly for those who may have family members that you are praying for, family members that you want to see healed and restored and made whole. There's something, a tool that we're going to give you this fourth Sunday that will support you in seeing them well, seeing them whole, seeing them perfect and complete. So make sure you're here, and also invite someone to be here, whether they're in need of healing or if they're also one of those family members that are standing in that highest knowing, seeing a loved one as restored and whole. Labor Day weekend, CSC will be closed, and that means we will not be holding service on Sunday, September 1st. We trust that you will enjoy the weekend as you see fit, enjoying family and friends, or just simply relaxing and rejuvenating. And of course, then we'll be back together again on Sunday, the 8th, September 8th. It is election season. It is a presidential election year, and there are so many things that have been happening out in our country and in our world. But what's most important, regardless of what's happening externally, it is important that you tune into the vision, tune into the world that you want to see, the nation that you want to see, and not be swayed by every little thing that's happening on a daily basis, because that's a lot of what's happening right now. There are things that are happening in the news, what's said in this rally versus what's said in the next rally, and what this person is for or against, right? But it's important to keep your vision on the highest vision. And that's what My Election Intention is supporting us in doing. 100 days of mindful practice. You can join at any time. We're hearing from the community that folks are really loving this and it's been beneficial. If you're just hearing about this for the first time, it is not too late. You can go to myelectionintention.com and sign up to receive the daily messages that will be coming from myself as along with so many of our friends within the New Thought community. And this will be happening up to Election Day. You can also use the text number there to join. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me about that. Our series of the month is What Is Mine to Do, which takes us back to 2020, another election year. This series, I think, is very impactful and powerful, and all of the themes that we tapped on in that series are still very, very much appropriate to what we're experiencing now. We're still dealing with a divisiveness. We're still dealing with a candidate that's incredibly divisive. And it's important that as we are practicing these principles, as we are part of the New Thought movement, as we are metaphysicians, we must be clear about what it is that is ours to do. We must be clear about how we show up for ourselves, and then how we show up for our community, our families and our communities, et cetera, so that we can be part of the solution, right? The first sermon in that series is the construction crew. Right? It's important first, you just got to choose. Are you on the construction crew or are you on the destruction crew? And there are enough people tearing things down, right? There are enough people criticizing. There are enough people creating more division and separation on that side. We need folks that are on the construction crew. And so that's the first choice that you make. Encourage you to watch that series. Encourage you to also share it with others who are seeking to keep the focus of their attention on the world and the nation that they want to see, a world that works for everyone, as we continue to move through this election cycle. If you have a prayer request, you can send that prayer request to prayerchampions@celebratationsc.org. We will know the truth with you. Pastor Yolanda and myself are always holding the community in our highest knowing. This morning, even I was just sort of imaging and thinking about the entire community, sending out love and seeing each and every one prospering in the most beautiful and appropriate ways. But we know that you may have a prayer request, or you may want to submit a prayer request on behalf of someone else. Send that in to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. And as your prayer is answered, as you experience the miracle, as you experience the shift, as something powerful and profound happens in your life, let us know. Send an email to that email address so that we can see how prayer is working in your life. Every Wednesday morning, we gather together for the Momentum Prayer Call. This is a wonderful way to keep the momentum, keep your consciousness, keep the focus of your attention where you want it to be. We know that affirmative prayer is a definite movement of mind and a definite direction to accomplish a definite end. And so we choose to get definite with the infinite. We choose to direct the power of God that is flowing through us in the direction of that which is beneficial, in the direction of that which is constructive, in the direction of that which is prospering. So we gather together on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We share a reading and we pray and move on with our day. You can access the playback or the recording of that prayer at any time by using the playback number you see here on your screen. Enter the access code and wait, and the most recent prayer will play. Also, if you're on our mailing list, we do share the link to the recording of the prayer so that you can listen to it from your phone or from your computer, wherever you want to listen to it. And that may be a bit more convenient for you. So if you're not on our mailing list, you may want to join the mailing list so that you can have access to that prayer easily and effortlessly. And that does conclude our news and updates for this Sunday, which means we get to go within as we are led in the meditation experience with Pastor Yolanda.
Yes. It is time for the meditation experience. We decided before we even opened our doors that it would be called the meditation experience because you can read all the sacred text, and we encourage that. But until you have a direct experience of the God within you for yourself, All you have is information, and many people are good at regurgitating, but not integrating. And so what we do in the meditation experience is give you the opportunity to go within and to connect to the God that is always there, always available, always ready to provide answers, always ready to provide and remind you of the peace that exists within you. And I say within you, the power of God is within you, because that's important. Many times when we are in fear, doubt, and worry, we've given our power to someone or something or some thought or some past. And that is where our focus is, as opposed to knowing that you are safe and you are free, because the power of God is within you. It's important that you know that, because if you allow yourself to be blown by the winds and the waves of anything external, you will be adrift. If you allow yourself to be blown by the wind and the waves of someone's opinion, of the past, of worry, doubt, or fear, or any thought that would keep you separate, you will be adrift and feeling separate and feeling afraid and feeling unsafe. But we know the truth is, the thought that we are using this month, I am safe and I am free because the power of God is within me. I'm safe and I trust this power. It's within me. And I am free to make choices in my life, to decide how I want my life to be because of the power within me. So let's do that now. Let's anchor ourselves this month in the knowingness and in the feeling tone of connection, deep connection. And deep connection gives us the freedom to move, to choose, to decide our lives. I am safe and I am free because the power of God is within me. So let's take time and connect to that power now, shall we? Go ahead and plant your feet on the floor. Make sure that you are in a comfortable, upright position and that the palms are on the tops of the thighs. That contact with the tops of the thighs signals the contact between us and the divine. The contact of the feet on the floor allows us to open and anchor to that which is within us and the Mother Earth beneath us. And from this place of being anchored, look around the room. Notice where you are. Notice that in this very moment, you are safe. And in this very moment, you are free because you're anchored to this power. You're enlivened by this power. And this power provides you with the ability to surrender, to trust, to go within. From this place of knowing, let's allow our eyelids to close. And let's allow the simple act of closing our eyelids to take our focus to the breath. And let's see, feel, and imagine that each breath relaxes us more. Just take a few breaths to notice and let each breath relax you more and more and more. Let's see, feel, and imagine that this breath is connected and flowing throughout our body. Let's see, feel, and imagine now that there is a ball of white light at the base of our spine. There is no right or wrong way to see, feel, and imagine. It is just what feels good and what you think is true for you. Let's take that ball of white light, and with each round of breath, send it throughout the body. Together, let's inhale for a count of 4. Hold for 4. Maintaining our connection, release the breath for 4. And settle in deeper and deeper for 4. Again, inhaling into the lower belly for 4, expanding that white light. Hold for 4, let it fill you. And exhale as that white light draws back into the center, the power draws into the center for 4. And then sink more deeply. Feet on the floor, ground beneath you, earth beneath that, connecting to the power. Allowing that energy to rise up through the soles of the feet and expanding the breath to the sides and the front and the back. Hold for 4. And without collapsing the body, release the breath and maintain the connection. And relax. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, expanding the sides, now the front and the back, as that white light just fills your midsection. Hold it there. And then sigh it out. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. Now allowing that breath and that light to rise to the heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. And sigh it out, releasing anything that would prevent you from feeling this connection, from knowing that the power of God is within you. And one more time, in through the low belly, up through the rib cage, allowing that breath and that light to rise. Hold it there. And sigh it out. Releasing anything unlike love, settle into the light, the connection, and the knowing that I am safe and I am free, for the power of God is within me. Let's practice a few rounds of this deep breath, of this connected divine light flowing through our bodies. But this time, slow it down. Inhaling for a count of 6, all the way in and up. Holding for 6. Feeling it pulsating, circulating. And release. And relax. A few rounds of this deep breath, in and all the way up. This time, close the lips. Exhale through the nostrils. We are grounded. We are uplifted. We are held. And we know. We affirm. We speak the truth. I am safe. And I am free, for the power of God is within me. As we prepare for our silent time, scan your body. Notice if there's anywhere that you feel you're holding on. And without judgment, let the divine light heal, uplift, release. I will monitor the time. You take the inward journey. You allow the divine connection to be more alive within you. You affirm, if the mind wanders, I am safe and I am free, for the power of God is within me. I am safe and I am free, for the power of God is within me. Let that power be your power now. With our eyelids still closed, just enjoy how the breath is moving now. With our eyelids still closed, we get a deeper understanding of what it feels like on the inside. And with our eyelids still closed, we get to remember that we are safe and we are free. For this power animates every cell of our being. This power allows us to move in the direction of our highest good. This power is the only power, and it is available right here and now. Let us go ahead and begin to wake the body nice and gentle, as if waking from a nice nap, a nice peaceful sleep. Maybe you wiggle the fingers and the toes, or take a nice long deep inhale and exhale through the nostrils. And together let's inhale and draw the shoulder blades and the shoulders up by the ears. Exhale, release the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale. Nice, easy, gentle release. Exhale, shoulder blades draw back and down. And one more time. Inhale. Again, this gentle movement. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. The gentle movement doesn't disturb our peace. Bring the palms together at heart center. And if you are able, bow the chin towards the fingertips. And just pause to notice that opening, the base of the neck all the way down the spine. Notice that power that continues to ground and connect you, that flows out the crown of the head, down through the soles of the feet, into the earth. And together, inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze. Exhale, release the breath. Maintain the peace. Namaste.
Yes, yes, yes. Maintain the peace. And be kind to your wandering mind.
Be kind to your wandering mind.
Yes, yes. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Well, we are in class mode. Get your books out if you don't have them already, so that we can tap in. As I said
Put your
earlier,
glasses on, whatever you need to do.
we are in the final 3 weeks of our class. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing is this is sort of the final full chapter. The next chapter is going to give us steps that we can use to start to apply these. So what we're going to do is break that chapter up in the next couple weeks because we want to expound, right? I think Ernest Holmes isn't as detailed in that last chapter, and so there's so many ways that he kind of says what to do, but doesn't necessarily give you tools and some hows and some things. So we get to expand on that a little bit in the coming weeks. So you want to definitely make sure you're here for that. But let's just tap in, right, and get into chapter 10, thinking creatively. I think this chapter is a little esoteric at times.
Can be.
So we'll break things down and talk about some things as we move through this. The world has lost faith in much that at one time was considered authority. When we lose faith in the authority of any existing institution, we are very likely, in repudiating its tenets, to throw out something that we should have kept. We are not alarmed over the thought that we shall suffer greatly in the dropping of many creeds and ceremonies, but we are anxious that we shall hold on to God. This is interesting because as I read this, it reminds me of sort of, I think, the philosophy that supported PY and I in creating CSC, right? And we've said it so often that we consciously wanted to take so many things that were good from our church experience, right? And bring them with us, although our philosophical, theological perspective may have been different. Right. And so often we don't think about that, right? We reject things and throw it all away and not realize that there's opportunity for us, things that we must hold on to and keep with us. Some people become fanatical in trying to discover truth. Let us try to keep perfectly sane in our pursuit, always recognizing that fanaticism is accompanied by personal egotism, and that personal egotism leads into fanaticism. There would be no religious fanaticism if humanity understood religion and its universality. Right? Very important. There should be no danger of a sane person losing their reason in the pursuit of spiritual things, because all insanity is the result of a disconnection of the mind with reality, capital R, with actuality, with everyday affairs. This reminds me of A Course in Miracles, right? I was thinking about the idea of A Course in Miracles is always writing in different ways about being restored to sanity, right? And so what we understand is that thinking in a way that's constructive and beneficial is the equivalent of thinking sanely, right? But of course, thinking in any way, as he talks about, he said there would be no danger. if our pursuit of spiritual things, because all insanity is a result of a disconnection. If we don't realize that oneness, that's what's going to cause all of the problems, right?
Absolutely. And the idea that people become fanatical in trying to discover truth. He's going to talk about it more later, but the truth is already there, available to you. But when you go running around trying to take every class and do every workshop and your way is the only way, then you become fanatical and even more disconnected than you unconsciously felt, which is why you went on this search in the first place, right?
Therefore, in our spiritual awakening, we do not need to separate ourselves. To do so is a mistake. That's an interesting, one of the things I talk about often, we teach that you don't have to become a monk and go, in a mountain somewhere to achieve enlightenment or awareness, right? And so in our spiritual awakening, sometimes that's what we think we have to do. There are a lot of teachers that always talk about, spiritual teachers, that talk about, oh, you got to cut people off. No, we do not need to separate ourselves. To do so is a mistake. Right, that actually would demonstrate that you haven't actually understood the truth of oneness, right? The connection with all reality and all. Yeah.
And then the truth that no one outside of you can sway you one way or the other, right? So I can have differing opinions. I can practice my spiritual truth and not be swayed by someone else if I really know what I say I know and believe what I say I believe.
Yep.
Right? Now, if someone is being abusive or there's something like that happening, of course, go out. But, I'm maintaining my peace. I'm whatever that phrase is. That is not going to help you to know that the truth is there no matter what.
Yep. To do so is a mistake. The method of approach is to have a spiritual outlook wherever we are. It is by so unifying life with reality, capital R, that we may come to see in every objective symbol spiritual cause and a reason for its being. There is a way to arrive at peace and happiness in what we are now doing.
You don't have to wait. Get more educated.
Right. Because that's really the underlying truth of it all, right? That our pursuit of awakening, our pursuit of enlightenment, our pursuit of knowing the truth, our pursuit of becoming masters is only so that then we know that wherever we are, God is, literally, right? Not as just an idea that sounds cool, but when you're in the motor vehicles, right? You will see and feel and experience God. When you're in a park, you will see and experience God, right? When you're in an airplane, you will see and experience God, right? When you're in a hospital, you will see and experience God. In every objective symbol, you will see a spiritual cause and a reason for its being. Powerful. Whether our problems are social or economic, the science of mind, rightly understood, is a valuable asset in the fine art of living. We have foolishly thought that we could insult the integrity of the universe and prosper. Integrity, that's important, right? That word, right? That the universe is integrated, in other words, connected, right? And so we foolishly thought that, there's spiritual, good, loving over here, but this other stuff, that's the devil. That's Satan. That's that, right? Without understanding that everything is unified. And when you understand how the law works, you understand the unification of it all. Inevitably, y'all could probably, if this was a drinking game, how many times is PG gonna bring up Star Wars? Right? Right? This is literally what Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi talk about when they talk about the Force, right? It binds us. It surrounds us. The Force. Now, there's a misuse of the Force, right? There's a quote dark and quote unquote a light use of the Force. That's true. Right. But the Force itself is everywhere, right? So we foolishly thought that we could insult the integrity of the universe and prosper. It don't work like that.
Right. It don't just work for you.
Right.
Right. Insulting the integrity, how it all binds one.
Right. But humanity is a spiritual expression, and as such must find their real satisfaction in the things that endure. We must awaken to the truth that essentially this world order in which we live is a spiritual order, that honesty, justice, and love are the very foundations of all life, and they cannot be flaunted with impunity. For they are the moral and spiritual principles that underlie all human relationships. So we have to understand that as well. And thankfully, if you can take a long view of history, and thankfully we can study history and we can see the things that happen, and so much has been documented across human history, that they can't be flaunted with impunity. Temporarily, it seems that they can be flaunted, but not with absolute impunity, right? There is eventually, we come to the reality and see that spiritual order always comes back into place: honesty, justice, and love. For they are the moral, spiritual principles that underlie all human relationships. This inquiry into our problems is producing a rapid evolution in our thought, but the inquiring attitude is a healthy mental state. The world, spiritually speaking, is in better condition than it has been because out of all the controversy, the mental turmoil, there will come some kind of an answer. Right? And what this is talking about is this idea that I call it collateral imagination. Abraham Hicks talks about just simply the idea of rockets of desire, that when an unwanted thing happens, it has us looking for an answer. Right? Unfortunately, so many of human beings are looking for saviors instead of looking for answers, right? Looking for saviors instead of looking for solutions. And so it's true that technically speaking, spiritually speaking, actually, the world is in a better condition because every unwanted has caused us to look for solutions that are more beneficial.
And you also get to decide, are you looking for solutions? Are you looking to be right about how bad things are?
Teach.
Really, are you looking for solutions? Are you knowing that the right order and the unification of the way the world works means there has to be a solution? Or are you complaining? Or are you afraid to try the solutions that you're receiving because they've never been done before?
Right.
If there's an order, a world order, a new thing being called, there has to be a new way to do it.
Yep. And the new answer must provide a bridge between the intellect and the emotions. It must be intelligent, scientific, and artistic.
Right. Think about that. Intelligent, scientific, meaning it's been proven, and artistic, meaning it's creative, it's new, right?
Right. And scientific, meaning it's repeatable.
And repeatable.
Right. That's important by anybody. Right. It may be asked, what can we depend upon? Whom can we trust? The answer is, first set our mental and spiritual house in order, and then, insofar as possible, make it produce for us the necessary and beautiful things of life. See, Ernest Holmes is getting at your business. These are Ernest Holmes' words. PG didn't say this. PY didn't say this. Well, what can we depend on? Whom can we trust? Right? We're in an election year. Right? First, set our mental and spiritual house in order.
Now, be honest with yourself. Is your mental and spiritual house in order? If I came over to you, metaphorically speaking, and walked in your front door of your mental house, is it clean? Is it in order?
Right. And so to the extent that we start to get frantic, to the extent that we start to move out of our center of knowing that all is well, of knowing that we are one with God, and there is underneath it all love and justice, right? Then the first thing we need to do before we talk about any candidate, before we talk about any policies, before we're worried about what this one is doing or that one is doing or what they're not doing or how mean they are or how terrible the world will be if they get elected, I need to get my mental and spiritual house in order, because otherwise you're never going to know what it is that is yours to do.
If anything.
You're just going to be a reactor versus a responder. Right? And make it produce for us the necessary and beautiful things of life. Because the things that we desire, if we're constantly looking outside and trying to change this, change that, change these governments, change these elected officials, change these people, that's not how creation works. That thing that is intelligent, scientific, and artistic. It starts with me. It starts within, right? And so make it produce for us the necessary and beautiful things. When we get our spiritual, mental, and house in order individually and collectively, the beautiful things of life manifest easily and effortlessly. What can be more practical than to gain the ability to demonstrate in our experience that we can consciously call on a higher power to do our bidding whenever our will is in conjunction with its nature, with the full assurance that it can never withhold our real good from us.
And that's it right there. All this teaching, all this reading, all this study, it comes down to your ability to apply and demonstrate in your life so that you know it's true. I can talk about it all day long, every day, and enjoy it, how it works in my life. But it's just going to also remind you, wait, I don't know that I'm living that way.
Right.
You got to make sure that these things make sense and are true for you.
Yes.
You've got to apply these things, not just show up on Sunday, but you got to apply it when we ain't here on Sunday. And then you know it works. And once you know something works, don't you keep using it? When you rely on something, don't you keep using it?
Right.
And if you found yourself not using these principles, these tools, these techniques over and over, it's a sign that you don't really believe they work all the time.
Yeah.
You have limited them to certain situations and circumstances, and this is just so big, I ain't got no choice, but I got to turn it over. I got to use a tool. It's saying live this way.
Each one is seeking to reinterpret life to themselves. There are certain things which we must know about ourselves inside as well as outside. We may look about for saviors, but we shall not find them. We may listen to sages and can interpret or misinterpret what they say.
Yeah, we've
but
heard
we
that
will
before.
never, but we will never find any satisfactory answer outside of an immediate, personal, spiritual experience, a certain interior awareness through which the soul recognizes itself as being in unity with the universe and with all other selves. This is what PY says to us every week in the meditation experience. Right? That ultimately there has to be an immediate personal spiritual experience, a certain interior awareness within your own awareness through which the soul, your soul, recognizes that it is a being that is in union with all that is, that the universe, the foundation of life itself, and with all other selves. Selves, right? Beautiful. The most impossible mental state is one which does not know that good must come at last to each alike. Right? That's the other part, that we stay open and recognize that I cannot know and want for myself what I'm unwilling to know and want for others. Right? That's an impossibility if you really want to have what it is that you want to have. In attempting to analyze our mind, we must realize that all that we can analyze is what the mind does. We assume certain things to be true of the mind because of what it does. What the mind itself is, no one knows. In theorizing on what the mind appears to be, we are conscious of the most striking fact. Mind is the one and only energy we know of in nature, which is conscious of itself and at the same time conscious of other energies.
Right. How many times do I say the mind is just doing what the mind does? We tend to think and interpret our thoughts as the only reality. And if we're in meditation, we tend to think that thought is the problem. But if we realize that the mind is just operating the way it operates, then we don't judge the thoughts.
Right.
We don't judge the experiences. We decide what those things mean for us.
And if you go back to our previous sermon series, Tell Me About Your God, right? And I talked about God as consciousness. What we have today that Ernest Holmes didn't have is the understanding of quantum physics and quantum theory that scientifically demonstrates that there's a level of mind at which all things are one and connected. And it is at that level that all manifested life comes from. That at that level of mind, every possibility exists.
Right.
Right. And so it's interesting because at the same time, right, we're the thinker and the thought, right? We observe the thought, but we experience the thought at the same time. We identify with the thought.
Sometimes to our detriment.
Right. So that's why he's saying mind is the one and only energy we know of in nature, which is conscious of itself and at the same time conscious of other energies. Electricity is an energy and appears to be an intelligent one, but it is not at all probable that electricity is conscious of itself. Right? This is beautiful. And that's why I said we get a little esoteric here, but it's beautiful. The creative power in the soil is most certainly intelligent, multiplying and bringing forth exactly what is given to it, but it is not probable that it is conscious of what it is doing. However, while it is not conscious of what it is doing, it still brings to bear an intelligence upon its acts, so much greater than our conscious intelligence that we cannot even compare the two. It is an interesting fact that our conscious mind in our everyday walk of life is dealing with creative intelligences in nature which do not know that they are creative intelligences, but which still know how to be what they are and know how to do what they do. Mm-hmm. These are deep thoughts. Right? Electricity is definitely intelligent, but it's not self-aware.
Right.
Right? Because if you think about it, this, if you consider, people have fears about AI, right? And fears about robots, right? Like if they become conscious and then eventually they'll be like humans. And, there's science fiction. Let that pass. There's science fiction movies where essentially that's what happens, right? The robots are no longer static like electricity. They're aware of themselves. They have feelings. And so now they want to protect themselves, right? So if you think about it, that's what's being demonstrated in those films. Imagine if electricity was conscious, right? If it could say, well, no, I don't want to power that. I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't. You haven't been good to me, so I'm not going to power you.
Right, Right? And so that's what he's saying. We know that electricity is not conscious of itself, but it's clearly intelligent, right? In the way that it works. The same thing with the soil, right? The soil receives whatever it receives, and the intelligence in the soil brings forth weeds, brings forth all sorts of things because that's what it does, right? But it is not self-aware.
It almost feels like sometimes our ability to be self-aware can be detrimental because we begin to believe the thoughts that we think about ourselves, and we're not also conscious that those thoughts are causing us harm.
Right. But you are not a robot.
Right.
That's the good news, right? You're not AI. One thing is certain: the more deeply we penetrate the mind, instead of exhausting that which we are penetrating, the more we discover how much is to be penetrated. So what he's saying here is that, right, instead of exhausting it, we find the more that we penetrate the mind, there is no bottom, right? There is no ceiling, there is no walls. It's just expansive and expansive and expansive, right? And the more that you come to know and experience at that deeper level, the more you realize you don't know. The more you realize there is to know. The more you realize that it's just infinitesimal what you know and experience.
Right. And infinitesimal meaning it's so small, but our thoughts tend to feel so big that we can't overcome them or release them, and it's not. It is simply a thought. And if you choose another thought, then the mind will do what it does with that thought. It will activate it. It will intensify it. It will continue to focus on thoughts like it. And so if we can take the thoughts that cause us pain and fear and doubt and worry and simply realize they are just thoughts. They have no power unless we keep focusing. And then the mind keeps doing what the mind was designed to do, thinking about it. And so we say, shift your focus of attention, not to be Pollyanna, not to say that things aren't happening in your lives, but to say, where do you want to create solutions from? From the fear, doubt, and worry and unworthiness, or from the power that is really within you?
I love in the book Beloved, one of the things that was being expressed was the trauma and the fear manifested as this child that ultimately was a full-grown woman, right? That was causing terror, right? It was there's unhealed trauma, right? That we understand where it came from. Imagine if some of the thoughts that you were thinking, it's like, okay, this is not even it's a baby right now. It's small. It's something I can deal with and tolerate. Do I want this thing to be a full-grown adult sitting in my house, drinking my milk and orange juice?
Exactly. Eating all my cereal. and not paying a bill.
Right? And that's what we don't think about, right? Right? A grown so-and-so, right? Sitting up in your house, taking up space.
And continually telling you what you ain't doing, what you ain't got, what you aren't about, right?
Yes.
How bad you were, what mistakes you made in the
Right.
past.
And so that's why we lower the threshold of our awareness when these thoughts are showing up and saying, "Wait, I don't want this to become a groan behind somebody."
Because we was about to say something else.
Right. Sitting in my house. That's what we're talking about.
And I keep,
yeah.
it's a beautiful way to think about it, because it's like this grown, thought has no power except I just gave it power. I just let it in. I just let it decide that it was in charge. I let it give me more thoughts, which also fuel more of those adults running around partying in my house.
Yes. All right, eating all my cereal.
Eating all my cereal. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You come home, you want some, and they just, it's all gone.
Yes. We continue. We might have so much water in a reservoir, and when we have used it, it is gone. So much money in the bank, and when we have drawn it out and spent it, it is gone. So much food in the larder, and when we have eaten it, that is the end of it.
You mean the pantry.
Yeah. Everything in the objective world begins and ends in the duration of time. But when we enter ourselves, we discover ourselves to be an inexhaustible reservoir. You contain multitudes. Why is this unless there is really an inexhaustible self which we may all sense and experience? This great exploration which the mind makes into the realm of spiritual healing is as fascinating an experience as anyone will ever have. We must be careful, however, to differentiate between this form of thinking and mere daydreaming. In daydreaming, one sits around longing for things and picturing oneself as having them, but in the very same moment being certain it could never be, letting one's imagination run wild, soaring into realms of fancy. Some people have done this, and upon being told that they had not proceeded properly, have exclaimed, "But we understood that we could have anything we wished." In spiritual mind practice, a person does not just wish for things. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Does not just wish for things. She consciously uses her thought to set creative power in motion and then accepts with expectancy the result. So that's why it's different than wishing or hoping, right? Hoping and wishing may be the start, but there's the next step, which is knowing.
Right.
She is, in a certain sense, experimenting not with mind itself, but with her own thought in seeing what use she can make of the creative power of mind. This creativeness we do not inject into mind. It is already there, a natural law in the universe. Right, so this is important because it's such a simple sentence, but I know it's something that we do and don't realize. This creativeness we do not inject into the mind. So it's not. This is why we're not here to tell God what to do. Right? There's the home that you want. You're not injecting that into mind. What you're actually doing is receiving what already is. We're late to the party when we get the idea. The idea already existed in mind. What happened is we were receptive to that which source in through and out of us was already trying to demonstrate through us. And so oftentimes, many of the things, I was thinking about it this morning, are you a manipulator or are you a manifester? And see, what most of us are doing are manipulating. We're injecting ideas into mind instead of receiving what it is that God wants to be, do, and have through us.
And once you understand that connection and that receptivity, you get excited and not worried.
Yes.
You get excited and not fearful.
Yes.
You get excited and you begin to look for the ways in which that thing that is coming through you is coming and available to you.
And then it's not necessarily based on what you've seen. Here's a wonderful definition. Visualization makes use of what we've seen. Imagination makes use of what we haven't seen. Right? That's imagination is when we're receiving from source. Yes, you can visualize, but you got to have something that you've already seen, something that you can attach to. Oh, I've seen somebody be famous and great, or I've seen this house, or I've seen this thing. And so you're imagining a thing that already exists. Visualization is tapping from the spiritual realm and bringing that thing, which, as it says here, it is there already, a natural law in the universe. In spiritual treatment, the person thinks of themselves as they would like to be. They should do this without contradicting the good of others, without seeking to coerce others, and they should do this in as absolute sense as possible. That is, they should withdraw from any contemplation of the relative facts in the case and think only of the desired outcome as being established in mind.
This whole paragraph is good. And when you go back and read it, this is a highlighter.
Lord
right?
have mercy. We see this all the time, particularly as we're working with folks one-on-one, right? Arguing for your limitations, talking about whatever the facts, or talking about what happened. Well, when somebody else did this, it happened this way, or they had these roadblocks, or they had these obstacles. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's just how they flowed energy, Abraham.
Yes.
That's just their thoughts working out, right?
Yeah. So it's important. We must withdraw from any contemplation. And contemplate is a wonderful word because that's about thinking of it over and over. Right? That's what contemplation is.
That's bringing home groceries to feed that adult in your house.
Of the relative facts in the case, and think only of the desired outcome as being established in mind.
Established, done. Mm-hmm. Because if you're operating from source and you're getting inspired ideas from source, it is already done.
Yep.
You're just getting the communication about what's already done.
Right.
Think about it that way.
Right.
If I received an inspired idea, that means it's already complete.
Yep.
It's already done. Mm-hmm. And so I don't move out in terms of looking for it to give me signs that it's going to be done or should have been done. I'm not contemplating it from the relative facts. I'm knowing from the highest sense of mind that it is done. Otherwise, I wouldn't have received the inspired idea.
Exactly.
That's also how you know if it's inspired.
They take a proposition which their mind can encompass, such as realizing that they are surrounded by abundance and by right opportunity, and compels their mind to accept this idea as now being a fact in their everyday experience. So you create your facts. You know what I'm saying? What do I know to be true? What am I choosing to focus on? What is my fact? Right? And that fact is internal, right? Not external.
That's one of my favorite questions to ask myself when I'm in worry, doubt, and fear. What do I know to be true? What do I know to be true?
Right. Yeah. Consequently, their work is intensely practical, and even though they are an idealist, they are scientific in their application of this universal principle of mind to the problems of their daily living. Whether we think we are dealing with our individual minds or with the universal mind, we are dealing with the same thing. God's mind is my mind. God's mind is your mind, right? And so we're consciously making use of that. But whether you think it's your individual mind, there is no individual mind.
There's only one mind.
Right? There's an individual expression of the one. That's why we affirm that in prayer, right? We are one with God, individualized, undivided, particularized. You are particular, you are unique, but you are still an expression of the all, right? Just as my hands are particular, they're specific, they're my hands.
My fingerprints.
Right? But they're part of this one thing that is me, my body. What we call the individual mind is merely the place where the individual uses the creative power of mind, humanity expressing God at the level of their intelligence. And the beautiful part is that we do not have to tell mind how to bring about the thing we are demanding of it. Mind finds its own avenue and outlet and releases its own energies for the purpose of self-expression.
And please notice this is capital mind.
Yes.
As opposed to individual mind.
Right. In other words, God. You could say that as well, right? Or the God mind, right? That's the beautiful thing about this. The how is not our business. We get so wrapped up in the how, so over focused on the how.
and our relative facts from the past.
Right.
Like, oh, this is how it worked before. This is how my cousin and them said it works.
Right. This is what I read somebody else did, or how it worked for them, right? We do not have to tell mind. We do not have to tell God how to bring about the thing. We are demanding of it. You hear that word he used? Because in prayer and in this spiritual work, we don't ask. We don't beg, barter, beseech, trade. Right? We demand. Literally, right? That word may make you uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's how much power you have. And it might make you uncomfortable.
Right? How to bring about the thing we are demanding of it. Mind, God, life itself finds its own avenue and outlet and releases its own energies for the purpose of self-expression. Because see, that's part of what this really is all about, is God must express itself. I was reading something yesterday that's still sitting with me. God doesn't have vocal cords. Right? God doesn't have feet. God doesn't have hands. Right? But God is the presence that must express itself. So it's always seeking avenues and ways to speak through you, seeking avenues and ways to touch and to interact through us.
To create through us.
Right. So that's what it says. Its own energies for the purpose of self-expression. That's why you can be, do, and have whatever you want. Because source in, through, and as you is always seeking expression.
It's not because you're good.
Right.
Right? I mean, I know we've been taught that we have to act and behave in a certain way. And then we receive. But what this is saying is it always wants to express.
Right. Right. The ever availability of good through the use of our mind means added wisdom for anything and everything we undertake. Every person can prove the proposition for themselves, and the Almighty has already given them the power. We shall never know that it actually works until we what? Try it.
Try it for yourself.
But once we have proved it, there is added to our lives and our experiences a something that will so change us that we shall never again be the same. Our whole reaction to life will forever be different. We shall have made one definite step into the spiritual evolution of the soul. Often we say that we cannot see our way out of certain conditions. We do not have to see our way out. We have to know that there is a way in to that innermost region of us which coexists with first cause.
I don't have to know. I don't have to see my way out. I just have to know my way in. Cue the Hammond B3. That's it.
Right? In prayer, we know God. In meditation, we contact God. And remember, it's very interesting because what did we read last week where Ernest Holmes writes about the idea that the recognition and the unification step are a meditation. There is one mind, one power, one presence, one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. Right? That is a meditation. I'm going within at that moment. I close my eyes and I state what is absolute universal fact, and I remind myself that I am one with that thing. And it is only because of that that I can then move to the realization step, that I can affirm and speak in the present tense as a fact what is now, that I can demand of it. So that it can express itself in, through, and as me as a solution. Express in, through, and as me as well-being. Express in, through, and as me as whatever it is that I'm choosing to be, do, or have.
Absolutely.
Right now, there is a power in you and me, which is God. I'm going to say that again. Right now, there is a power in you and me, which is God.
Right.
There is a presence which is good, and intelligence which is perfect in this sacred spot, of the Most High, in you, within us. We dwell quietly and calmly until we reach a conviction that all is right with us. If we wait for it, it will. If we wait for it, it will not come. But when we believe in it, it will be there. It has nothing whatever to do with time. This is why we get rid of the sometimey God. I know, and particularly as black folks, if you came up in any black church experience, he may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. It has nothing to do with time. God is now. What does the Course in Miracles say about miracles in time? that they happen outside of time.
Miracles
right?
happen outside of time.
Right?
Time is a relative fact.
Right, in this physical experience.
Yes.
And so that's not about God. That's about how this physical world works in terms of time, right? But in the spiritual world, which is where God is, it is now, it is done. God is always and only on time. And even to say that is a misnomer because it has nothing to do with time, right?
I was going to say that.
Right. But I love that, right? A Course in Miracles. Miracles, answered prayers, this connection, right? It happens outside of time. We shall finally be delivered because the universe is foolproof, a universe of law and order, of cause and effect. Nothing can be more wonderful than the majestic, sublime, and eternal march of cause and effect. Our part is to unify with the universe by deliberately turning from discord to harmony. See, that's the only thing. Whatever's happening in your life, you experience something unwanted, you're seeing discord, but what do you want? You want harmony? Turn to harmony. And that within.
Right.
First and foremost. Don't tell that person that you're having a disagreement with, well, we should be in harmony, we should be unified. You know, that's not how it's going to work. And I'm using that voice because that's weak. That's a weak position. The power position is to go within and turn to harmony.
I know harmony exists. I'm going where the harmony is and let it speak through me.
Yes.
Let it move through this situation. I'm demanding that harmony be in this situation. I'm demanding that right order exists, divine right order exists. That's what I'm asking, and that's what I'm demanding. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm knowing.
Our part is to unify with the universe by deliberately turning from discord to harmony, to the belief that in the spiritual world there is a counterpart, a prototype, a real entity back of us, though it is only partially and imperfectly revealed in our human way of thinking. Spiritual healing is a result of our attempt to seek out the universal harmony, to unify ourselves with the life of God. That's why we always say this, right? When we're thinking about physical healing, what we're doing is we're tapping back into the blueprint that is. If there were no perfect blueprint, healing would not happen. And I'm talking at any level, like when you get a scratch and the scab develops and it heals.
I love that analogy because we take that for granted. That's an example of how easy healing happens because it must be able to happen in the cells.
The cells have a consciousness of
healing,
repair, right?
Of repair, of restoration.
It has a reference. I mean, you think about that for literally, those cells would have to have a reference.
Right. And that's why, every time I marvel, it seems simplistic, but it's important. I marvel, especially now that I've had so many health challenges and my body wouldn't heal. I marvel now. I'm in appreciation and joy for every cut that heals and how quickly my body heals once it's in alignment with restoration.
And this is also why every meditative practice that supports you in tapping into this realm that we're talking about, that Ernest Holmes is writing about, one of the things that's always said is that then the body starts to automatically heal, right? Because what's happening is you're coming back to the connection of the realization of who and what you are. You're tapping into that blueprint. So it's an automatic, inevitable thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. I'm looking at time, all right? We got a little bit more time. It is superstitious to believe that spirit cares more for one than another, or that truth is partial to any individual. It comes to all alike. The sun shines alike on the just and the unjust. Each is in his own tongue interprets the God that is, and out of the God that is and must be creates the image of the God he or they worship. This has always been so, and perhaps always will be. Enlightenment alone will create the image out of the God that really is. Enlightenment meaning everything that we've been reading about in this chapter, right? Coming into this place of going within, right?
Of practicing the truth so much that it's real for you. We run across this a lot where people think that well, how long do I got to pray? Well, how often do I have to do my spiritual practice? Until you know it's true for you. And even then, because you keep expanding and growing, you still want to keep that energy going. You still want to increase what you think you know until you really know it.
Right.
That keeps going and going and going and going.
Right. This is why the greatest athletes continue to practice.
Yeah.
Simone Biles, right? She continues to practice over and over and over again.
We were watching the game last night, and Steph Curry, he was like, yeah, I just let the work, I know the work that I've put in works. And so now it's just on autopilot. I just show up, and I know that I've worked on this. These shots that look amazing and incredible and nobody can do them. He works on those.
Right. And that's the approach to life. So that when we're in the game, when we're in the moment, the work shows up. But if you ain't been doing no work,
you ain't been practicing.
Right. You have nothing to call on. You have nothing to draw on. Right.
And you have nothing to believe in.
There you go.
He knows that the work he's put in will pay off. He believes that. He's seen it. When he hits that three-pointer with two people defending him, and he turns his back and knows that it's gone in.
There you go. See,
that's how you know when you know. When all of this can be in front of you and you don't even care.
Right. Lord have mercy.
Ooh, look for that shot. Ooh, we kept playing that over and over because it was amazing. Defended all big tall defenders. He shot it, turned his back because he knew it was already in.
Because he trusted the work.
Yes.
Yes.
It hadn't even gone down yet. He had turned his back. It's done.
Yep.
Are you approaching your life that way?
Yeah.
Where no relative fact can change what you know is done?
That is powerful. As an instance of the practical value of this principle to any kind of business, let us take the example of a man who believes he is not a good salesman because he does not make friends. At any rate, he feels the need of friendship. This man is typical of countless individuals whose experiences have been such that they think everything is against them and nothing for them. And I love that, right? How many of you right now have had that experience or can even remember when you felt that way? That everything was against you and nothing was for you? Because that's what this man is really thinking.
Right. I mean, everybody has had that. Now, how long you hold on to that thought is something else.
Right. No one loves them. No one considers them. No one plans for them. If such a person is intelligent enough to recognize the absence of friends, they are intelligent enough to perceive the qualities which enter into friendship: loyalty, honesty, integrity, understanding, and such. The first step for them to take is to become friendly in their own thought. Lord have mercy. See, it starts with me. It starts with me. The life that I seek, it starts with me. The first step, whatever it is that you actually want, or particularly in this case, whatever it is that you think you're lacking, my life will be different if I had this.
If I had friends.
I don't have, right, in this case, friend, right? The first step is to become friendly in his own thought. The first step would be to stop all of the self-condemnation, right? He don't even want to be friends with himself in his own mind.
And then he expects somebody else to want to be with
listening to what he's thinking, right? When he recognizes that he is joined to every other person by their common heritage of good, he can easily prepare for friendship by creating an atmosphere of love and harmony in his heart. Not anywhere else, but in his own thought. He might begin by saying to himself, and this is powerful prayer, everything is one. The mind which I use, which I call my mind, is the same mind that every other human being uses. So there can be no ill will or opposition in any man's or person's mind toward me. I have no enemies. I am one with all good. But every person is one with all good. Therefore, I am one with every person. Wherever I go, wherever I go. Wherever I go, whenever I go, I am meeting friendship, love, kindness, and consideration. I am loving every person and desiring every person's good as I desire my own. I give every person kindness and unselfish service. Therefore, these have come back to me in friendship, for universal mind can deny me nothing.
Whew, that's a powerful prayer.
And you hear how affirmative it is, right? It was spoken facts In the present tense, I am. This is happening now. It is. It's a reality. Not, I want this to be. And once I love myself enough, then maybe some other things will happen. It's not a conversation with God. Mm-mm. There's no you. God, you this. God, you are. Oh, God, we worship you. You're so magnificent. You're great and mighty, God. And so because, God, you're great and mighty, I know I can have these things. No.
No.
Whoever does this will find friends wherever they go. All people believe in God, but all people are not aware that they believe in God. The only way we shall ever know what God is to us is by inner conviction, which will be theoretical, and an externalization of that, which will be practical. Mm-hmm. So what is he saying? He's saying here that, right, the only way that we know what God is to us, what we actually believe, is first tapping into these principles and coming into an understanding of what contacting God, right? Contacting this eternal universal presence. And then the externalization of that, then we look at our lives and see what's happening, and then we can know what we really believe, right? And so that's the practical aspect of the practicing of it and the experimenting of it. And that's the sort of the push and pull that we move through. You see what you really believe, right? You can pray all kinds of prayers. You can pray this prayer right now. And if you're not seeing the fruit of this prayer, what you're seeing then is what you really believe.
Right.
About God, yourself, about life, about friendship, about people.
And so, right, don't get disheartened if the prayer isn't showing up immediately. Mm-hmm. There may be things you have to release, remove, so that the prayer can be real for you. You're not being tested or punished if it doesn't happen immediately.
Right. The inner conviction we have, and we wish now to, externalize it. We align ourselves in principle with God, who is our creator, the essence of the thing desired. If we really understand this, soon there will externalize the perfect answer. This will happen according to law, just as exact as the law of gravitation. And now comes the most difficult part of it all. The thought and the idea must be abandoned into mind. I would add, this is just like a seed when it's planted in the soil, right? We have to establish the idea, know that we are dealing with a law of mind, then let go of the idea, confident that the law is dealing with it. PY gave us the perfect example. Steph Curry shoots the shot and turns and starts walking down the other end of the court, confident that the law is dealing with it, right? It is not easy to hold and let go at the same time, and yet in a certain sense, that is what we have to do. We are dealing with something that takes ideas and makes facts out of them. Takes ideas and then makes them real in the sense of something that the physical world can experience. Because the physical world really ain't the real world, but makes facts out of them, makes them something that you can see, taste, touch, and smell. As this is understood, the power is set in motion that will manifest at a level which will be absolutely identical with the mental and spiritual level of our embodiment of the idea. Right? So that's the other thing, right? That God in, through, and as you can't create beyond your belief.
Right.
Right? Beyond your knowing, right? So it's always going to be at the level and absolutely identical with the mental and spiritual level of our embodiment of the idea. Let us forever remove from our minds the thought that we shall sometime get to the place where God will become available. God is available right this minute, right where we are.
I love this.
Right? Neither comes nor goes. That's why I love it. Yeah.
Because again, it says, if God is available right where I am, right in this minute, right in this very second, that means the power is there, always has been there, always will be there. That power is connected to the answers. That power is the answer. If I feel confused, dismayed, disappointed, I'm not tapping in and seeing it from the answer.
Yep. The everlasting good, the ever-present, ever-available, limitless potential power, intelligence, and creativeness is wherever our thought rests. All is ready to spring instantly from the invisible realm into concrete form through the pattern of our thought. We are looking for something secure, something we can put our trust in. The thing we are all seeking is reality, capital R. We may call it God. We may call it peace of mind. We may call it certainty, positive happiness, absolute salvation. We may call it the kingdom of heaven. But in the last analysis, it is the search for that alone which is permanent. We all know enough about reality, capital R, to readily believe that if we could push farther into it, there would be wonderful experiences to enjoy. Every person has at times felt if they could just do something to break the bonds within themselves, open up some door which appears to be closed, they would step into completion and be instantly perfect. I am certain that when a person has harmonized themselves to such a degree with reality that in one moment's thought, their divine nature is released through them by an immutable law, it will then be possible for them to use their power, impossible for them to use their power destructively. They would have to use this power for beneficent purposes only, for power is only delivered through love. The universe cannot be divided against itself, and we arrive at the most powerful use of thought only through constructive methods. And it's important what he says here, the most powerful use of thought.
Right. It's not saying that you're not using thought.
Right.
You're always using thought.
Right. Right. And so we see, right, the power of thought has been used to create wars, to even win wars. Right. I was reading something today about Napoleon Hill and the way, I mean, not Napoleon. The way in ways in which he used, essentially manifestation principles, right, for war, right, and he had success, right. But the most powerful use of thought is only through constructive methods. Right. And so this is then where we see some of the most world-changing things that have happened on the planet right now. I'm thinking about the work of Gandhi or the work of Martin Luther King, and so many others, right, that these sweeping changes that literally changed the world, right? Well, that was the most powerful use of thought, and it was through constructive methods, right? So I'm looking at the time where it's almost time to close. We, of course, want you to continue to read this chapter, complete this chapter, come back to this recording and listen to the things that we had to say as we're expounding on the text. Next week, the chapter next week is titled 10 Steps in Personal Achievement. And so he gives us 10 practical things that we can use. So what we're going to do is next week we'll start with the first 5 and really break those down and give you additional things that you can use to actually apply what he's encouraging us to apply, but also bring it all together in terms of what we've been reading across these 10 chapters. If you have questions, please send those questions in, thetruthsunday@celebrationsc.org, and we can address those and tap into those in next week's class. Share this with somebody as well, right? We're in the final weeks, but we know and see in the ways in which that this is still benefiting so many people. So by all means, please share this so that they can also benefit in wonderful and powerful ways. And so here and now it is time for giving, and as you know, as you give, you receive. That's absolutely true. And there's a quote that I read this week that I wanted to share with you, which is important, because so often when we think about giving and we talk about giving, sometimes giving becomes difficult because we've been sacrificing, right? So we don't even like to give. It's like, I'm tired of giving. I gave, and I burnt out. In truth, you were sacrificing. You weren't giving, right? Well, in a similar fashion, if you're giving to get, you weren't giving either. You were trading. Hello, somebody. And this applies just not to your finances. It applies to everything in life, right?
Relationships.
Lord have mercy, right? You're out here trading. You're not giving. We give in love because we love to give. And we understand that because we live in a loving, supportive universe, we will always be supplied. Because we're one with supply. I don't give to get. That would be trading. And so when you're giving here at CSC, whether it's today on Sunday or another day based on when you get paid or whatever your schedule looks like, that's fine. Understand that you must give because you love to give. And also you can think about it. I give because I recognize that I give to support the mission and vision of Celebration Spiritual Center. There were people before me that gave, that it's because they gave in love that this beautiful community still exists. right? There are people that gave 11 years ago, that because they gave 11 years ago, we're here today, and you are benefiting from all that CSC is, right? And your giving that you give today, there's someone 11 years from now that's going to benefit because of your giving today. If you give to get, that ain't giving. That's just trading. But when you give in love because you love to give, not only do you then open up all of the ways that you will receive, because see, if you're trading, then you're only going to
Get what you exchange.
Exactly, that's it. But when you give in love because you love to give, oh my goodness, you receive the world and so much more. And so it is only then from that place that then you can affirm, as we affirm each and every week, this affirmation: all the money that I circulate,
All the money that I circulate
returns to me multiplied
returns to me multiplied
in a never-ending cycle
in a never-ending cycle
of increase
and
enjoyment.
And enjoyment.
To that we say amen,
Amen.
ashe,
Ashe.
and so it is.
So it is.
Well, we love and appreciate you all. We trust that you will enjoy the remainder of your Sunday and the remainder of your week. We will all be together again on Wednesday morning for the Momentum Prayer Call. And if you're not able to make the call live, which we trust you are able to, make sure that you tap into the recording, make sure you stay in the vibration of prayer and keep that absolute knowing humming in your life. And then we'll be together next Sunday as we continue with the final 2 weeks of this masterclass. Again, share this with somebody. Let them know about this good thing. Remember, we can't know the good for ourselves that we're not knowing for somebody else. So don't keep this good thing to yourself. We know you want to prosper, but that prosperity is available to all. We love you. We appreciate you. Bye for now.
Bye for now.